adding a new category and URL structure in WordPress. We have a 2-year-old site with 1,500 plus pages of content. Right now, we only have history and art. We want to add technology and science categories to the site. Do you think we should add a slash category name to the URL structure? Will that affect our traffic in any way?
Hey, it's Steve here. Just a quick heads up before we get into the answer to smash that like button. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Your likes really help my channel grow, and you'll be the first to know when I drop new videos. Now, let's get to that answer. Yeah, I would definitely include a category, a name into the URL structure for sure. It'll help in a lot of different ways. In fact, if you didn't want to do that, I would even especially on a big site, what we've been looking to do moving forward. All right, let me back up a second. So back in the day, before Google was as good as they are and had all the the tools and the speed and all the data centers everywhere, we had and disk drive space was more at a premium. Now it's nothing price wise. One of the things was, hey, don't have your content too many folders down. Like, don't have URL slash category slash thing slash, like, don't have that. It was like, oh, the closer you can get to the root, the better, right? And the idea was like, hey, when you open a drawer, you want to get access to it. You don't want to open a drawer to then open another drawer to then pull a box, open that up to get to the content, because that couldn't be that valuable if it's that far down, right? If it's going to bury it away. Now it doesn't matter. Google can see everything. It doesn't matter if you're 15 levels. Now, granted, you don't want to be 15 levels down, but if you're a few levels down, no big deal. What I'm finding now in working with some bigger clients that have bigger, numbers of pages of content, is that we are really finding a need to have a blog folder or some kind of article or news or something that separates out what our blog content is from our primary content. So one of the clients that we have is basically it's a personal injury lawyer, and he's got things about his location and different cities that he's in, different practice areas that he's in. But he has a really strong blog that gets a lot of traffic. The problem is that if you get a blog post that just takes off, and it does happen, it goes viral and you start getting like thousands of visitors to it. Well, then when you go look at your analytics, right, it looks like you had this big jump in traffic. And if you compare this year to the same time last year, it looks like your traffic went, or maybe the opposite. Maybe last year you had a really big thing that was getting a lot of traffic, and this year you're getting none. So it looks like things have fallen apart. So what we have found has become much more important is to shift all of our blog content related stuff into a subfolder like blog or news or whatever. And then from within there, having a category. So you might have like blog slash history, blog slash technology, blog slash art. This way, when you're looking at things like analytics, if you're evaluating your Search Console results, you can tell Google to ignore any URL that has slash blog in it. And now you can kind of track, well, how's the website doing separate from the traffic we're getting from the blog? Or vice versa. How does the blog do separate from our traffic getting to a website? Now, if those two things are, if it's not relevant, like maybe you've got 1,500 pages because you sell prints, right? You sell artwork. And half of those are art, some of those are history. And now you're going to add, what were the two that they were going to add?
Science and technology.
All right, so you're going to have science and technology, and you're going to be selling prints of science or technology. Okay, well, that's going to be all part of the same site. So yeah, but you definitely want to categorize it so you can drop people on a category page that says here's a lot of stuff on science, here's a lot of stuff on technology. But if it is going to be a subcategory of your blog, then I would say have a root level blog slash news slash article, whatever you want to call it. Even keyword rich, you could be like, SEO news or, things like that. And then underneath that, you can have the categories showing for each thing and or the tags that can get people. So now they know here's all my stuff on art or history or technology or whatever. So that would be the way I would go moving forward. It can be a pain in the ass to do it initially, but it will pay off in the long run. And it's happening right now for us because we can now take a look. It's been over a year now since we've moved this last one over, and it was a big one. It was a big job forwarding all those old URLs from the no blog URL to a blog, and we just called it legal blog. It's making a difference because now we can separate out the blog from the website. The website, people looking for a lawyer, looking for an attorney, looking for an accident attorney or a lawyer. Now we're not looking at the traffic coming in because of the blog. We're looking at the traffic coming in because the website's content for what they offer with their transactional information has been split out from the blog, and we can compare how are we doing, from a transactional perspective in a much better light than doing it from including the blog in there. Because again, you get one or two viral blogs and it makes your numbers look really good. We had one the other day on one of our AC clients. They had an article about your vent sweating, and all of a sudden there's like 500 new people coming in for different variation of the word vent sweating or sweating vents or sweating AC, whatever, and they're getting found for a bunch of that stuff. But none of that is transactional. No one's looking for a new AC. No one's looking for AC repair. So it doesn't really help us to compare, this month to last month. If this month we have 500 more visits, but those 500 visits are all coming because of one blog. And so I definitely have found, as we move forward, as we build our own stuff out, having a folder strictly for blog content is a much better idea than kind of having it off the root directory, which is what you used to say years ago, because the split makes it much easier to compare apples to apples than it was before.
Well, and conversely too, I would imagine if you wanted to just see how's my new science category doing, or how's my new technology category
Yeah,
doing, to be able to search on that, give you
exactly.
some ideas about how everything's growing.
And everything, and that's in Search Console, you can do it. In Analytics, you can do it. If you are, let's say, running a spider on your website, you can say, just show me what's going on in this category, and that can tell you what's good or bad in that. It's definitely, it's an organizational thing, right? It's a way to organize information in a way that makes it easier for you to kind of deal with it, handle it, split it out. So yeah, you're 100% right in what you're saying there, and it just makes logical sense to do that. We got away from that because again, the experts, me included, was saying, hey, you want it as close to the root as possible back then, right? You don't want to have folder after folder after folder. The idea of having a filing cabinet where you open it up and you get a folder. But think about it, you open up a filing cabinet, there might be like a green, big giant green folder with like A, another one behind it with B. And then in the A is a bunch of yellow manila folders that have alphabetically all the A's, and then alphabetically you can pull out that. And in there might be some stuff there too. So, but the idea was like we don't want to be opening up a folder or drawer that has a drawer in the drawer, has a drawer in that drawer, because if something's in that third drawer, it's probably not as valuable or as important, because if it was, it would be closer to the top. That was kind of where it's all came from. But now it doesn't matter. Google just can see all of it. I mean, you don't want 15 different URLs, folders in there, but if you're 2 or 3 levels deep, it's not going to make any difference whatsoever, honestly.